Hi, welcome back. So today we'll be launching out of Jebediah Sands as a request by the Territorial Arctic Protection Entente. Now you'll notice that we're in a new version of the Moth. I'll talk through the details, but the reason this is the Moth 2.5 and not 2 is just simply that it has one of its drop turrets mounted on the underside for very early use in the flight, rather than in one of the cargo bays like you may have just glimpsed. So, let's get to flying. Now, inconveniently, Tape has placed his damn defenses right in the middle of the runway. So I'm going to start by setting this turtle as my target so I know where I'm aiming. It's just about due east, so that is... I'm facing north, I need to turn that way. Okay, we're rolling backwards slightly. Which is fine because we are going to want to roll forwards very aggressively soon. Okay, let's do it. So here's the plan. There we go. See, no problem. Now, as for that, let's drop that guy. Oops. Let's not worry about that. Put the gear out. There we go. Switch him to guard. And switch back. Hopefully he'll be fine. In the meanwhile, let's turn around a little more onto the trajectory we actually want. North-facing runways. Territorial Arctic Protection Entente and their obsession with north. Okay, hopefully we'll be stable enough. There we go. Alright, so we're about halfway through our rocket fuel. In fact, speaking of rocket fuel, let's have a look and see. I haven't set up the cameras and stuff yet. Target self. Botfly by. There we go. So now we can just do this and go. Whoa! Look at it go! Wee! Wow! Way! Whoa. It does have some good speed, and we are picking up speed. Ideally we'll get through the sound barrier before we run out of fuel, so I might just nose forward. The goal here being to get through the toughest part of the flight whilst we've got the set myself up with some reserve fuel, I think. So we get through the toughest part of the flight. Oops. It scraped a little, and we got some fire coming out of the body, but that's okay. I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. I forgot to fill those. Now, I've done a flight from Seaven for testing, but I haven't done a flight from this far out. So I'm down 300 odd fuel before I even started. 360 fuel. Because I didn't fill those, but that's okay. It's really not ideal. It's gonna cut down our time in each place quite considerably. Now I'll just check that we've got the settings right. 5,000. So the physics load distance is gonna change to 10,000 after this turn. So I've been doing a little bit of testing with that to see just sort of how that behaves. See if there's anything I need to take into account especially. And there is. There's issues with it. Good and bad. Mostly good. We're mostly in an advantageous position by having a 10-kilometer range. It means that missiles can get away, and Penguin can't do the Penguin maneuver, which is where you fly in really close to the edge of the allowed range before firing. So I'm going to use that same maneuver myself today. Because it's efficient, effective. If Penguin can use it, it seems fair that I can use it. We're changing the rules after this turn, so it's not going to be so effective, so I'd like to give it at least one go before we nerf it. So we're actually wanting to go that way after this, so I might just skirt it to the right slightly. Looks like we're actually going the wrong direction for what I want to do. So our rate of descent's quite high, probably a little higher than I want. You'll notice that I'm selecting 2 at a time. The way this is currently set up is so that I'll fire 2 weapons. So weapons are paired currently. Yeah, twin everything pretty much. So I'm thinking for a turtle, we're familiar with the turtle, we'll go with 4 missiles. 4 seems like a good number of missiles. So what we're going to do is start washing off that rate of descent. We've got about 5 kilometers to drop and about 25 kilometers, which is 5 times as many kilometers. So we really want to be in the right place. This number to be 5 times this number, which would be 400, which it isn't, which means we're descending too fast. But that's okay, because descent's easy to resolve. Alright, here we go. We're just going to keep the nose up until we kill some more of that vertical speed. Now, I'm just watching that gap. And this gap here is shrinking, which means we're going to fly over it, which we do want. But I also want to shoot the thing, so I don't want to fly over it too much. Now, the way Penguin did this was he got to the edge and started firing before he got within 5 kilometers. For me, I think I'm going to wait until I get within 5 kilometers, so if the AI detects you firing missiles within its bubble, it should turn on right away, and I want to give it a fighting chance, so... Not the sensiblest or safest way of doing things, but... it seems fairer, somehow. So, like I said, in later turns, we will be adjusting the targeting range, so once I get to about here, it'll be able to shoot missiles at me. So you'll come there, and it'll start shooting. If you're going fast enough, it might not hit you immediately. Let's just pull aside a bit. Basically what I want to do is get to about 5 kilometers, launch 4 missiles, and leave. There we go. 4 missiles. Something's wrong with my sound. Here we go. Those are aiming at me, alright. Lost interest. That one's still got my attention. That one's way too interested in me. Oof. Alright, looks like I hit it. I wasn't really watching. So the DMOS, right? There is an exercise in confusing. So Tape insists it's his. It's currently Empath Raptor. Oh, we'll use it as a target. Tape insists it's his, so I can't attack it if it's Tape's. It's emitting a Penguinaut Empire IFF, which would also mean I can't attack it, so basically it's not hostile, it's not set to defend, it's currently just sitting there. I don't know what it's doing, I don't know who it belongs to, but the important thing is that I can't attack it. So it can stay, no problems. No problems with that. Up north a bit further we have Kollaborative, where I'd considered attacking, but there is a penguin defense there, so it's not just sitting there like this one is. This one's unarmed. But whilst those I have no problem with, over at the Kerbal Space Center there's a recent arrival of a submarine which is preventing me from mounting a proper rescue on Valbella Kerman. Now, I don't know about you, but that feels like it violates a non-aggression pact to me, blocking someone from rescuing their own innocent, well, relative to the Penguin's innocent, pilot. I mean, it's not like we did anything to the Penguins to deserve that kind of treatment. So it's pretty disappointing, really. Can't say I'm terribly happy about it. We've got a different loadout. As you can see, we've got a range of bombs, ground attack missiles, not bombs. Instead of bombs, we've got some stuff pressing on the inside of the door there, as you can see. And, of course, the underslung turret that's already gone, so... let's do our dog-legged attack. Legally Kerman. the missile's not making any noise. That implies to me that a crash is coming. So hopefully I can play through the whole turn without too many issues. The problem is I have to switch if I launch those turrets, and that's when a crash will happen, if it's going to happen. So I don't really know what a Centurion is. I think it is Twitch's second turret design. I think it's the very heavily missiled one. A lot like a sort of lightweight version of the Turtle with more missiles. I think that's what it is. Now, I am halfway through my fuel, but I'm most of the way through my flight, so hopefully that'll do. Now what we're trying to do here is just get ourselves on a nice angle for an attack. Now we can't outrun the missiles so much, so what we're going to be doing is, here we go, again no sound. Oh, I went wrong there. Centurion hasn't launched at me yet. I imagine it's not far away from doing so. Looks like a square hit, excellent. And laggily, got off lightly I suppose. Alright, next up, the KSC. So we have an issue here with the KSC. And the Penguin, in all his wisdom, has decided to block our rescue attempt. Starting to have doubts about Penguin's friendliness. And Tape insists that he wasn't to blame with the attack on the Kermansov. I don't know why he would lie about that now. I mean, we can see there's not a lot of option. If he did or he didn't, it wouldn't make any difference to me, so he may still just be trying to you know, keep up appearances, keep things good, but he may be telling the truth. Now, if he's telling the truth, then that means Penguin is essentially the mastermind behind this whole war. If that's the case, all of these attacks on Twitchy, it's on Penguin, I have to say. So what we're going to have to do here is a surgical strike. So because of that Penguin or Empire sub, we can't go anywhere near it, or we risk violating our treaty. The base isn't a shared base, it's definitely Twitchy's base. It's definitely part of the DKRNK, and if not their headquarters. And we can't allow that camouflaged chameleon, camo chameleon if you will, to just be left alone. So our only option is to attack it, really. And we'll go on to hit KSC Island and take KSC Island. So most of the payload we have here is for helping defend KSC Island and for assaulting that chameleon. So I'm a little worried about that. It's not a lightweight thing. I mean, it's better armed than the silverfish, so... Now, penguin's off to sea, so... literally miles off to sea. He's about 2 miles away from the Boy George. So, we can do this without upsetting penguin's defenses. And we shouldn't violate any treaties. What we can't do is rescue Valbella. She is too close to the penguin ship. The penguin's basically goose guarding our pilot. So I think, given that, I'm not sure whose side he's on. He seems to be quite happy to let Twitchy get wailed on here. He's not offering any help over Tape's side. Next turn, Twitchy goes next, and it's still turn 8. But turn 9 is where the peace treaty ends. So Penguin will have his turn, then Tape will have the opportunity to attack Twitchy. So he's going to be getting hit on 2 fronts. So I'm not quite sure what Twitchy plans to do about that, but if this is all Penguin's fault, maybe he'd be up for negotiation. I'll have to ask him next turn, see how he feels about it, see what he feels about the situation. Because, I mean, if we've been duped into a war, then that's not good, is it? So you'll see out there on the coast is Penguin's sub. So what we're going to do is come on perpendicular, strike the Boy George, and then go round over to the KSP island. And if we've got fuel, maybe onto a bit sandy, but I don't think we'll have fuel. We'll see. I do want to make sure that these tanks are enabled now, because we're running into our reserves. That was actually closer than I had intended. So we have a nose reserve and a couple of side reserves. Okay. So again, foolish though it seems, I'm gonna wait until we're in the 5 kilometer range. I'm thinking a few Hellfires and the Mavericks, I think, for this. The Mavericks are here for this because it's quite a heavily armoured target, so I need to be able to puncture through their armour, and the Hellfires aren't going to do it, I don't think. Okay, so we're going to just keep off to the side of it. If you can think of this as 2 5 kilometer bubbles, we're passing through the 5 kilometer bubble, which won't include Penguin's submarine. Forced into a surgical strike, though. This is not a... I'm certain blocking rescue efforts is an act of aggression. we'll have to take this to the World Congress and see what everyone thinks. Because I mean, if Twitchy agrees that that is in fact unfair, then we might have common cause in... Okay, here goes. Oh, I've still got one of them. 4 kilometers. That's still 7 kilometers. Well, it exploded on its own? There, I lost it. Good. Did I hit it? I think it shot itself. I'm not convinced that was me, you know. I mean, my missiles did hit it, but I'm pretty sure it shot itself before I got there. It might be to do with that door being closed, but... I don't know. Fuel-wise. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking fly over there? I don't think so. No. That's actually a really long hop. Looks like we're not going on to Bit Sandy, so what we'll be doing is using the Pack 3s as an additional defense for the base. And I guess launching up at Stephen Inlet. Might as well prove ourselves to be a good ally, mightn't we? A better ally than Penguin, what with his no-risk sea defenses. Okay, so coming up to the end of my run. Okay. Come on, target. Come on. Gotcha. Alright, looks clean. So, fuel-wise, we're alright. Let's open these bays. Now, I'm gonna quick save here because it's acting really strangely. Now, I've done all my fighting, so however it turned out, I'm happy to live with, so long as it doesn't crash whilst I'm dropping these now, because that would be really annoying. So we're going to start by dropping the turret. So this is a tiny little base defense turret, like what we dropped at Tape's base, Jebediah Sands. See ya, buddy. And now I'm going to drop my speed down, because I intend to drop a couple more little guys. Down here. So let's just get over this flat. And drop them here. Okay, hopefully that'll do. Now I'm just flying backwards. The bays are empty. Let's switch to some things. Gear, 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 gear. Okay, good. What the hell is that? Oh yes, good. Okay, so now we're getting quite light, so I'm just gonna bring us in for landing now. Just go nose over tail. Bit of an aerobatic maneuver that you don't usually see in a bomber, isn't it? Okay, and then pull us up. Now we want to lose speed so the brakes are on. We're slightly off trajectory actually. This is not an optimal approach. Especially not for a powered off suboptimal approach. Let's just give it some thrust. Alright. We're a bit wobbly, but that's okay. Should still land plenty safely enough. There we go. Come on, brakes. Actually, that's a bit of a concern. I do have power off. Okay, good. Let's turn us around whilst we've still got some of that momentum on. We have quite a lot of momentum in this thing. Okay. Let's just roll back. So we've got a couple of little moth rovers you'll see there. Those are robotic vehicles of mine called the Botfly. Now the Botfly, because our little turret and ground defense drops are allowed to be missiles, just guns, or helicopters, they're basically little tiny helicopters. They're not very good. Half the time they crash themselves, but they're not a stationary target, so they'll make it harder for Twitchy to launch an effective assault. So let's just park this over here. Alright, and now what we're gonna do is just tip. There we go. And turn off that, and turn on the brakes. That's... it's going to say technically not dead, but it's got no probe core. Those are actually slightly different. These were the rescue craft that I had intended for Val Bellicomen, so wonderful. So what we're doing here is we're just going to repack these parachutes. You can land these, they're not too difficult to land, but just for the other players. So if they come and trigger these defenses, they can just come and activate these, and they should fall slow enough. They're very, well, I wouldn't say very light, but they're quite light. So they should be okay. AI KSC Island. Sunbathing. Excellent. That's fine. That's perfect. So it's got a kilometer, so you could potentially sneak in there perhaps. But it's not going to be easy to do without challenging that guy. Alright, here should do. Spacing doesn't really matter because we are a fairly round shape. Lights on. Guard mode on. Wait a second. I know this base. So I'm defending this base because I attacked this base. Karma. Okay, well, I think that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.